Hey guys, my name's Mannequin. I bet you didn't think there was going to be another episode on this. Okay, what I wanted to just talk about was I briefly went in earlier this morning and I kind of listened to the project and then I did two things to it. Just because I really wanted this one to be pristine, and I was looking at the waveform on SoundCloud and there are some weird things, so I went to go and fix some stuff. First of all, limiter number 6 is kind of transparent as a limiter, although it does add some character, and also it does let some peaks through. If you look at the SoundCloud waveform, you could probably tell that. I may or may not try replacing it, but we'll kind of see. And then additionally, we had some other things I was kind of listening to, and the sound signature was still not quite right. So I went in this morning and I did a final EQ that I added, and then I added a adaptive limiter on top of that to kind of just add a little bit more loudness and kind of tame those peaks that we were getting. So I just kind of want to show you guys what was going on and why I did what I did. So what we have here is basically, if you listen, I'm going to turn this off and then play it back and kind of just show you what the difference is between the two. Let me bring it right here first, actually. So you can tell it makes it a lot sharper and also a lot clearer. It doesn't sound like the type of smooth clear. It sounds like almost the type of loud clear. And that's kind of what I was looking for in my master, and I didn't quite get. That was the one thing that was missing. So what I did was, the main thing that does this is this band right here. It's very smooth boost here. So tell me you're in this. I wanna feel your kiss. So that's what gives a lot of that presence and a lot of that sort of stand out sound that makes it sound like it's standing out more. This up here is just a slight high-end boost, and I did cut the highs in the end just because I decided I think I was hearing some artifacts on SoundCloud that were probably caused because I didn't end up cutting the high end. So that's why that did. This right here I found is a nice little part where a lot of my track has dynamics in the low end, and it doesn't really do that much, but I'll kind of just turn it up. It's at 2.5 right now. I'll turn it up and you can really hear what it's kind of affecting and why I decided to boost right here just a little bit. I want you to show me everything, how it could be, and baby, you need this. I wanna feel your lips. When you feel it, do you know that your eyes hit me? So it just kind of makes the low mids a bit almost clearer, kind of, because instead of focusing on all the bass sounds coming from here, we actually move a little bit of them up to here. So that's just kind of why I boosted that a little bit. Right here, I was having some muddy buildup, so I cut here, and to make up for that, I kind of boosted the low end a little bit. And I'll kind of show you what these do. So this one is it gets rid of some muddiness. So you could probably tell, well, you actually may or may not be able to tell, but these basically do is this kind of cuts the bass in a little spot so that it doesn't sound like there's as much buildup with the bass, and it kind of makes it sound like it makes the bass sound clearer. Well, it doesn't kind of like help the bass be big and boomy. It just kind of makes it clear, and then right here brings back some of the bass in the low end so that we can kind of make up for the fact that we're cutting here. We'll boost a little bit here. So these are kind of subtle. This one's a little bit more than I usually would do in this. And this is a very wide but smooth curve here. And normally what I do in this case is I'd actually get the gain and I'd balance it out to kind of see what I'm actually doing. So in the end, if I kind of like average it out, I'm doing a very slight cut here, a notable cut here, a slight boost here, and then a very subtle boost there. You kind of see it's just like barely there. And then a boost here, and then a cut here. So when you even it out, you kind of see more what's going on. Because sometimes your EQs will look like that, but realistically, all you're doing is boosting the gain and then just doing these slight cuts and stuff like that. But I'm going to leave it at 0 just because it kind of boosts the volume as well. and I kind of wanted that. So and then the limiter, I just kind of slapped an adaptive limiter on here. Out ceiling was just at 0, and then I turned down the gain because it's normally at 3. I turned it down to 1.9 because I kind of found that's a sweet spot where it brings the loudness, but it doesn't sound like it's distorting or anything like that. And the track really, now it really stands out and sounds more like a mastered track than it did before. It kind of, you just listen. So it just really, it makes a big difference.
Don't be shy, baby. If you wanna be with me, so tell me you're in.
So that's what I did, and just kind of, you know, to show you guys, I wanted to show you the last couple of things because regardless of whether or not I replace it on SoundCloud, this is what I consider the final track to be. I don't have SoundCloud Premium, so I can't like switch the track out like you normally could. I might get that just so I can do that, but I don't know. We'll see. As it is, I like the way this track sounds, just like personally. So I don't feel much of a need to kind of go through and make sure that it's submitted in the contest and it sounds exactly like this. I'm more worried about the fact that now the track is exactly how I want it. And I'm glad with how it turned out, and really I really like this track because it's got some new stuff that I've never tried before, and it ended up sounding pretty cool. So so now this is the final episode, and I consider this track done. And really, I really enjoy, like I said in the previous video, I really enjoyed this one. And if I sounded kind of tired or quiet in the last video, it's because I couldn't, you know, be as loud as I usually am because there were people sleeping. It wasn't that I was bored or anything, or that I was kind of upset. It was just that I was like trying to be quiet to be courteous. But anyway, yeah, I really enjoyed this track, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this series, because I know last series was a little bit of a downer because the end track I wasn't too proud of. In fact, I didn't even post it on my SoundCloud. And despite the fact that I was like really unique and I did some interesting stuff there, it wasn't something that like really fit my style and I was kind of proud of. This track it fits my style. I'm proud of it, and this is literally what you would see from my full potential. This is not a track that I slacked on. This is what I would consider a full track. Now, despite the fact that I was rushing the last couple of episodes, that doesn't mean that I consider this any less a full track. Because I'll be honest, like I've told people that I've done a remix in 3 days, and that's because I've done it like 2 or 3 days, and this one I did almost half of it in about 3 days span. So it's not all that unusual for me. In fact, if I were to go into the studio and just kind of like start a track and spend an entire week on it, I kind of feel like I'm stretching out the track a bit, because I'm like finding the minuscule things that I don't really need to worry about, and I'm worrying about those, and it kind of just becomes a little bit of a drag. So when I do rush, it's not that big of a deal for me, because it's kind of how I work. I kind of like to have a little bit of pressure so I can kind of wrap things up as best as I can, as fast as I can, and not worry about the tiny things that really shouldn't bug me. So really, I am really proud of this track, and this is a track that, you know, like I said, it's like what I usually do. It's not like last time where it's kind of like, oh, I'm going to show you everything that I do, and then I kind of do a half-done track that doesn't really fit my style. This track, I'm so glad I was able to show you guys everything that I was doing, regardless of whether or not I explained it well. I know sometimes I didn't explain as well as other times, but at the same time, I was able to show you the entire process of one of the tracks that I make that is literally like a really good track that I really liked, and it wasn't just, you know, a pretty good track that was almost up to standard. This was like, this is essentially the same quality and the same level of detail as if I would have just done a different track without recording any of the videos. So I really hope you enjoyed this, and I wanted to hop in with this last video here, just kind of show you the last 2 things I did, because I don't want to skimp out. Obviously, you didn't see me doing them because, like I said, I can't do it while recording, because otherwise I get terrible feedback from my microphone. Just because the setup I only have one sound mixer basically that I could run my speakers out of and my microphone into, and there's no way I could route my microphone to only go to the computer and not go out the speakers as well as the computer. So it's a little bit of a problem in that regard, but so I couldn't really record me doing this, but at the same time, I wanted to show you the 2 things I did here. It's just this one final EQ curve, and then this. Normally, you'd kind of want to stick to one, but in terms of a mastering EQ, sometimes you actually want to use a a graphic equalizer, which is kind of looks like this. You've probably seen it before. Apple Graphic EQ. It's just a big band here, so you have individual control over each of these things. You could go in and tweak it, and you don't have to layer because you have such fine detail. You literally have 31 bands that you could tweak to the perfect spot. But since I don't have that, and I'm just trying to do like, I just kind of know what I'm listening for, know what I need to do. That's why I ended up with 3 EQs on here. Now, granted, there is also a big difference in the fact that I use a channel, a linear, and a channel. Part of the reason I started with 2 is because I wanted a channel and I wanted a linear. And then this third channel EQ was just so I could easily show you guys what I was doing. Now, to be honest, even if I wasn't recording, I probably would have just slapped this third one on to do it anyway, because it's easier for me when I think, okay, it needs more right here, to just add it right there instead of going in the previous EQs and rearranging everything. Now, if it had a lot more bands that I could work with, then I'd just work in one EQ. But since I only have like these 5 bands here, actually, no, it's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I have the shelves, which I use occasionally. Then it kind of is a little bit less flexibility. But anyway, that kind of wraps up this track in all of its entirety, and I consider this track 100% done now, because I like how the sound signature has changed and improved with this last bit of mastering that I did to it. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this series, and I can't wait to do more of this series or a similar series or a live stream. We'll see how that works out. I'm actually busy setting up a Twitch account so I can do that. Hopefully it'll work, and hopefully everything will go smoothly and I can actually start to do live streams. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.